Welcome to Kranky Live, the show where bold minds meet real talk. This isn't your average sports or news show. It's where we break down sports, culture, and controversy with facts, fire, and fearless honesty. Here, truth cuts through the noise and hype gets exposed. From football to track and field, from world issues to local debates, we ask the tough questions, speak without fear, and go deeper than the headlines. We don't follow the crowd, we set the trend. While others recycle the same tired takes, we bring fresh insight, unfiltered analysis, and bold perspectives. No echo chambers, no puppet talk, just real conversation for people who think for themselves. Listen with your brain, not just your ears. Think critically, question boldly, and speak freely. This is Kranky Live, where reason rules the mic and truth always wins. Come on, let's get into it. Good night, everyone. How you doing? Welcome to the Kranky Live show, our balanced view. I think I'm broadcasting on both channels tonight. This is one of those, what I would call impromptu shows. I was here doing something, you know what? I should just go on and do like a half hour to an hour show. Listen to the people, have them call in, provide them perspective, and then, take it from there. Bless up Dr. Dan. Oh, Dr. Dan, I'm doing a video. You're in it. You're going to be in the video. I do a video tomorrow talking about AI, Dr. Dan. So I'm not quote you, try to paraphrase the video. Should be a good video. So I'm not going to get to it, but it's a good video. It's a good video. No, not Trump. AI. I don't think we have a good view. I think whenever you start with it, I'm going to start with it. I don't think we have a good idea of where AI is going. I think if people really figure out where AI is going, they would lose their mind. I think I have it figured out, but we'll see. I'm going to drop a video tomorrow and talk a little bit about it. It's interesting. Yeah, it's going to be interesting, actually. So it's a good video. I'm looking forward to it. As to AI and civilization in general, not just job replacement. It's an interesting place we're going. But I thought I'd come on tonight and talk about different things. Obviously, we have the Melissa hurricane and the aftermath of the hurricane. So now the rebuilding starts, and it's amazing how you spend so much time generating income, paying for materials, building your homes, building your roads, building your bridges, building your dams. And then in basically one day, it all dissipates. It all gets destroyed. You have to start again. And some of those places will never recover. That's a reality. Never recover. Yeah, Dr. Dan. But I'm dropping a video because I don't think even some of your friends actually, and some may understand where we're going. It's a paradigm shift, and I'm not sure a lot of people get that. But I say I'm gonna drop a video tomorrow and talk about it. It's really interesting. But in terms of the hurricane aftermath, I just got in touch with my people. They called me yesterday. People are inventive and creative now. So there's no my family stays someplace in St. James. There's no electricity, no power, water is challenged. Everything is challenged. And the community that they're in lost one person. She won't say how she died, but she died. So they're going, and they sent me, and I got pictures for one of my niece of the video, and she was in. I don't know why she left Kingston to go down to St. James, people, because she was safer in Kingston. She's in dorms. I don't know why she went down there, and now she's saying that all her clothes and all her stuff are messed up. But anyway, sent up pictures, and some places are just destroyed. People, like one of the houses that she stayed in is destroyed. Roof is off, flooded out. It's a mess. But everybody on my side is okay. And I was at Dennis Shipping today. I ran to a lady from Westmoreland. Can everybody buy barrel, people? Because I have to go send enough things out Jamaica. And by the way, those of you who are local who beat the diaspora is rallying around you. The diaspora supports you. The diaspora want to help every way, shape, or form. In fact, my soccer team executive body met yesterday, and we're going to give, how much did we agree upon? $1,000. I know it's not a lot of money, but $1,000 to maybe a couple of charitable organizations. That's coming from the club itself, and individuals obviously are going to give their own individual amounts, coupled with support their own families. So I think the diaspora, from all the things I've heard, are rallying around to support the island and support their families, and it's a great thing. And I think times like these, when you have tragedies and you have difficult situations, people come together. Yeah, no, the diaspora is going all out, right? And I think sometimes when you hear the negative perception of us and that we think we're better than them and all that, that narrative needs to go away. We all want people. We all trying to achieve as much as possible in life and help our families and help ourselves. And we should be much more of togetherness versus being disparate and being divided. Yeah, I was on Maverick show today. I'm not sure that was a good idea, actually. I'm not sure that was a good idea, but we'll get to that at some point in the program. But yeah, I mean, the pictures are very, very sad and very, very difficult. Everybody I talked to lost something. As I told you, my family has a 3-story house, and I don't know how that works, but I'm a little bit surprised the roof got blown off, because I bought that roof, and so therefore I'm gonna be perturbed that maybe it wasn't what I think I paid for. But and then I'm here that a lot of stuff got damaged in the home, so everybody's safe, but that's a little bit disconcerting and concerning. I know it was a Category 5 hurricane, but still, I'm a little bit surprised. And I saw a lot of houses in that same environment or that neighborhood, and they're destroyed. A lot of them and if those of you who know Montego Bay and the St. James area, if you're driving from Montego Bay all the way to Westmoreland, and you reach to somewhere like Mount Carey, for example, where they're down below, so you can look, you should come up Long Hill Foot and you go to Anchovy and Mount Carey, you look down, there's valleys down there. If you see those houses, only the houses which are 3 stories survived. Like some of the houses, they're up to the windows and above the windows in terms of mud and rain and water. It's gonna be, and the problem you have too. This is not an industrialized country where a lot of the infrastructure is insured, right? So when you have private abode in the U.S., you can't get a mortgage without getting insurance. Right? Some people may take off the insurance and they pay off their house, but in Jamaica, most people own their house and they don't get insurance for their house. They don't have insurance. And so there is no fallback. There is no way to reduce that exposure. You just got to bear it and figure out a way to pivot and get things restarted. So it's a very difficult time for a lot of people. I would suggest, if you can help, if you can contribute, please do so. Whether you're doing it for direct family members or you're doing it in general at large for the country. If you don't have any persons in Jamaica, or if you want to give to both the persons and also give to at large, and be very careful of some of these websites that are collecting resources and funding, and they're fake websites. They're not part of the government websites or non-for-profit organizations who are trying to help. People are always, humanity is, you have a lot of good people in the world, you also have a lot of awful people. I don't know, when you have tragedy like this, why people want to steal and plunder and do all that. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I don't know what that's about. You want what, first class service in a hurricane? Like, really? Stay here then. No, people don't need. We don't need them kind of people there in Jamaica. If you can't understand, if you can't pivot and realize you're in an emergency and things will be normalized, then you can stay here. Never come back. Never go back. Stay here. They do. I mean, I don't want to label any group. I don't want to call it Black Americans and Black this or Black that, because we do enough amongst ourselves to destroy ourselves, whether we're Black Jamaicans or Americans or English. as a people. I just reading I was watching something when I was coming on the show before coming on the show between D.L. Hughley and Marcellus Wiley, and I'm just like, why do we always do that? Why? I don't understand that. Sometimes it's home training, right? Sometimes it's the culture. It's how you're brought up. Sometimes it's all about, if you ain't got no home training, when you go abroad, you're going to just do things a certain way. If the culture that you're brought up in, you operate a certain way, when you go someplace else, you're going to behave that way. The lack of empathy and understanding manifests itself in those environments. Yeah, and I mean, people have to understand that in emergencies, people bond together. I watch a lot of videos, whether it's CNN or ABC or CBS or Fox or BBC, whatever they were. I watch a lot of videos about some of the people who are there and are trying to help. And all of various organizations who are trying to help, not just the diaspora or people with Jamaican heritage. And it's, I was watching Robbie's channel, AFTV, and he's going to do some kind of initiative around that. And a lot of people came on, and that's the first thing that they mentioned, right? People are very empathetic. And I don't think people realize that, especially the Jamaicans who are in the UK, for example, Jamaican heritage. Many can go back to Jamaica for resources or otherwise. They are pro-Jamaica. So I hope that tragedies like these, even though you hope they never happen, will work to bring us more together as a people versus dividing us. Yeah. But things like hurricanes and earthquakes and all that, these natural disasters, which seem to be getting worse over time. You know what I was thinking about, people? And it's a strange thing to think about. I was saying to myself, we had loss of lives, and that's so unfortunate. And my condolences go out to the people who have lost family members from these tragedies, not only in Jamaica, but Haiti, Cuba, Dominican Republic. But I was thinking, for some strange reason, as to we now have social media. So for most people, not for everyone, information is going to be received much more readily, much more easily. You don't have to listen to the radio or listen to TV. And those are still mechanisms to reach people. But you have it in your palm of your hands to get that information for most people. And so that readiness and that awareness is much more there for you as to what measures you should take to protect yourself. And that may have contributed significantly to the less loss of lives. Couldn't stop the properties from being destroyed. But I was wondering, for somehow this come to me, so don't judge me, but in times of slavery, or even with the Arawaks Indians, how did they protect themselves from events like these? Now, we say this is the worst earthquake ever. I don't know how we even know that, as if we were in those times, and if we had data to tell us that. I don't think we did. There could have been worse situation than this. But how would they have known? How would they get that information? I know there's more sense of the land and the birds give you idea, but to get that pre-warning to protect yourself and know where to go, how did they survive in those times? Those things cross my mind as to human beings are resilient, actually. Very resilient. Because in the slavery days or in Arawak's days, I mean, it'd be really interesting to see how they get that notification and then be able to react quickly, protect themselves. But it's a tough time for Jamaica, especially the southern part of Jamaica. I saw a lady at the Dennis Shipping Company. I was there this morning, pick up a barrel, and she was saying that where she's in Westmoreland, the entire place is decimated. And she was talking about in Savlamar, some areas of Savlamar. I don't think everything is decimated. At least I hope not. I was in Savlamar when I think I was there in June, actually. And I talked to another friend of mine. Her aunt lost her roof. I think her mom lost her roof also. Her house was good. So it's a lot of people have come to a lot of situations. She had solar. The solar system is down. The Wi-Fi is down. Everything is down. But even though he's not my favorite person, the owner of Starlinks is allowing people to call free between now and November 30th. So I hope you have that information. But you can get access to the Starlinks system and be able to use it to make phone calls. I should drop this in the chat. A lot of you I got this from Dwight actually. Dwight Spence today, and I called some friend of mine. They already knew about it, so I'm the one late. But it's a lot. I drop it in the chat. So if you don't know about this, you can talk to your loved ones about it. I'm sure many of you do know. It's Starlinks, and you can use it to make phone calls free until November 30th. So they can get there. And I got a call yesterday from my niece. She's at a primary school where they have Starlinks and they have no electricity. So they connect a car up to the system to provide that energy, and then they can get their phones and get Wi-Fi to call. People are very innovative and can be very intuitive and innovative when it calls for. So she was able to call me because there's no service. And she was telling me that all the light poles are down in that neighborhood, all the light poles. So some of these places won't recover for years. Some will be up and running quick, especially those in the more well-known areas, but some of these places will struggle for a long time. A long time. Okay, I hear you. I hear Mr. Man. Yes, it's a difficult time for a lot of people, and you hope that somehow they'll get enough assistance. And we hope the assistance will get to the people who need it. You know, that's one of the things you're going to have in these tragedies, and you don't have an equivalent. I mean, I know we have a department of sort of the disaster recovery and emergency. But you hope that the resources get to the people who need it the most. And those right now appears to be people in the South and the West who have been devastated. Many will probably never recover in terms of financially, because you build your house, you own your house, you feel good, and now your house has been submerged in water or in mud. That's not a good thing. Good evening.
Good evening, Kranky Live.
Who am I speaking to?
Oh, it's the oligarch of what? Which I'm no longer oligarch.
How you doing, Cataract?
Well,
so God sometimes spare the wicked, eh?
No, I have not been spared. Things have now come through from the country. I've been spared in Kingston, but family businesses, and remember last year too, we had bought a hotel. You know, they've all been decimated. They just don't exist anymore.
What hotel where?
In the grill. Don't exist anymore. Don't exist anymore. No exist.
The hotel is gone?
Yeah, don't exist.
Wow.
Don't exist. They said the sea came and took it.
The sea took it?
Yeah. The storm surge. It's a small near the West End. Yeah.
And I bet they don't have insurance, right? They don't have they have home like residence insurance. I'm gonna call it. I call it home insurance, hotel insurance.
No, you have to have insurance for the resident. You can't have a hotel without insurance.
Okay, so they have insurance, then I assume.
Look, what is it there? They like an abstract person, but no, man, it's an investment group.
Okay. And also, what may happen, Cataract, is that if too many people have insurance, the insurance company may go out of business. You know, they get decimated. It's a catch-22.
Well, exactly. But you may not know, but my family owns the property, the lands next to the Black River Hospital, 10 acres of it.
But at least the land is still there.
Well,
right? I mean, it may need some resurfacing or whatever you call it, but it's still there. The hospital has been damaged.
So, I really, my uncles, what was one of the main income streams for the family.
What was it? What was it? Was it a agricultural farm or something?
It was no. It was a university, a medical university that was run by the Indians.
Yeah.
So they used to come there for the pre-med and the thing, and then transfer to the States. So
Okay.
it's a fairly stable income business. But they would have gone out of business because all the records, everything is gone. It was a big conference. There's a big conference center that was there, a
Right.
great house, and then built 4 homes on it for his dependents. So the homes are not there. They're just not there. It it's like there's a movie called Zombie Apocalypse or something like that.
The
Like,
apocalypse. Okay.
yeah, stuff was there, and now it's not.
Yeah.
Like nothing. Like it's just if I told you before today that Kranky, probably you own a university and a great house and stuff, you'd be like, yeah, sure, cataract, show me. And if I took you there today, you'd be like, yeah, see, you're a liar, because there's nothing here.
Well, I
But the
mean,
great
somebody
house,
asked, is those the Indians that were on the news today, med students? Somebody's asking that question.
I don't even know, because we haven't seen them because they ran. And I don't run them because
Whenever stay there, if the place will get destroyed, them can't stay there.
what did they say. So I figured that after some time, lawyers will take that up and whatever, but they just ran. But I don't wrong them. What could they do? They're going to be like Stumpy in Mobile. You stay and you die with your house. You have to
Yeah.
leave. You have to property. But because they were wooden structures, because it's a great house.
Okay.
So we're not going there until next week. My uncle will be able to stop. I think he's 75, but he's had 2 strokes in the last year, so he's taking it rough.
I mean, it's rough for a lot of people, right? You spend your life building up your resources and improving your financial situation, and you get wiped away in less than a day. That cannot be good.
He's also in the medical marijuana business. Shouldn't even be talking these things, but yeah, in the medical marijuana business. So the ganja. So I suspect that people are going to go mad. Jamaica is going. It could possibly just get more violent. There's no weed.
But why is weed important? Maybe it's a good thing. There's no weed.
Ganja calm most people down. Ganja is a calming drug.
Drink some water.
Well, no, but when you look at the ganja field, my friend, there's just nothing there. Like there's some dolphin and mermaid getting high in the sea right now.
Yeah. I don't ganja is the least of people's worries, I would think. People are more concerned about having some place to live. Forget about just some place to live.
Industry. Ganja is an industry.
I know it's an industry, but
significant economic for Westmoreland, St. Elizabeth, and St. Anne.
I think tourism is more important right now than ganja. And tourism is materially affected.
Ganja is part of tourism. Although ganja is part of the music as well. But ganja is part of the culture. I'm just saying all the ganja belt. So it came, so Cave Valley, Alexandria, all those places, so St. Anne, Weed, St. Elizabeth, and Westmoreland, Grange Hill, Orange Hill.
Yeah, I think we should be concerned about tourism. Tourism is what, 37% of GDP?
No, I mean, that's your tourist point. Every tourist will be going to Portland. And I mean, the Portland left. But the normal the airport, I don't think that airport can open for a good while.
I thought the airport was open yesterday for certain flights.
But, yeah, just like a one flight coming in, but the equipment must be damaged. The fiber, the comms, the electricals must be compromised. Electric, need water and electricity don't mix.
I would think they'll get the airport up and running fully by next week.
I look at the I wish. I hope.
Because they have some people from here who are experts in certain disciplines who are going to Jamaica, who have gone to Jamaica or going to Jamaica. So I'm sure part of the request is to get people who have certain expertise to come down and get certain things up and running as quickly as possible.
So let me tell you what is happening, but it's really in the King's Head. Portmore don't have any light or water. You know? So while everybody is focusing out west, Portmore don't have no light or water. Old Harbour Bay don't have no light or water. Or such sections of great sections of Portmore. But Portmore don't have light. Period.
Yeah. Well, they have to figure out how they prioritize who gets what, right? I think certain facilities like the hospitals need to get power yesterday, which will then have some knock-on effects because certain other areas in those communities will get the electricity they need. They got a priorities based on where the emergencies lie and where you have most needs. And then I'm sure they have the Prime Minister spoke well about preparation. So let's see if they execute as well as he speaks.
Well, remember what I told you in a private conversation? It was all PR and BS, right? They're people taking dead bodies and leaving them at the police station. Their dead bodies pulled to the gate, to the roadside. Right? That's the reality of what you're finding now.
Yeah,
it's gonna be. It's not. You can't on Sunday and Monday and the day of the storm, you have excavators and B90 tractors trying to clear drains.
Yeah, but the PNP wouldn't do any better. Come on.
I didn't say anything about the PNP. The PNP
no, but I'm just saying you're criticizing the government, and I'm going to make the point that the government can only do but so much, right, with limited resources.
No, Kranky. A lot will come out in the wash. So I didn't mention anything about PNP or PNP better.
But by default, everybody's going to think the same thing, Catholic, for you from the opposition. Everybody's going to think the same thing.
No. Well, I would put it to you, no. Because I can share with you part of a manifesto that I was part of creating, which, it would not have been able to be
So what's the total number of deaths so far that we know? I'm sure a lot of people have not been identified. It's probably very difficult to identify how many people have died because they're probably still trying to figure out how to move around.
For example, the government gave a total, and then the MP for Eastern Westmoreland, Dr. Dayton Campbell, he was saying 19, which is more than what the government is saying for the whole island.
I don't think it's 19. Now we know whether. I don't think it's 19.
You don't think 90 people have died?
I think it's more than that.
Oh.
If you look at the devastation, it's
going to run into hundreds.
Yeah. It's got to be more than that. If a category 5 where houses are covered, I'm telling you, some places, my niece just showed me some pictures. In some place, St. James, they're in a valley. The house is covered up to the top. And it's not a small house, a concrete house. Huh? That's how those people escape. Yeah. Huh?
They're saying it was 19 in Eastern Westmoreland alone.
Somebody says 24. True the truth said 24, the last amount name. I think it's more than that.
So I didn't even open what I wrote, but in the part of the PNP manifesto I recommended, that the Sandy Gully was made, and I'm just talking about Kingston now, right? And St. Andrew. The Sandy Gully was made more than half a decade, more than half a century ago. It's totally inadequate to move any sort of water. We are just lucky that it didn't hit Kingston, which is where 1.2 million people live. But the drains in like St. Mary and the drainage in Westmoreland, they don't have any major drain like how you have the Sandy Park, the Sandy Gully. The entire rebuild of Jamaica has to look at.
Well, I think the government has an opportunity. The government has an opportunity.
Let me finish. I'm just saying, these climate events, catastrophic climate events, are going to happen more often. It's not going to be one in every 37 years. It might be one in every 10, one in every 5. They're going to happen more often. if I take my uncle Trevor, right? He literally, because we were expecting a PNP victory and whatever, and a new government. So he dumped a whole lot of money to finish the repairs on the property in Black River from Beryl last year. So it took 1 year. Literally in September, it was finished up. Conversation, there were new things that could be done there. We wanted to move into AI and trying to make Black River a Silicon Valley with all of the high schools that are around there and stuff. So, he put a lot of investment in, and that's gone. This that I see here, I think it will take more than a decade for Jamaica to come back to anything close to where it was. Between 10 years, minimum. 5 years for me to be workable, 10 years minimum. And you see, because a lot of us are in Kingston, Kingston is not Jamaica. St. Andrew is not Jamaica.
It's Jamaica, but it's not all of Jamaica. Can I say it's not Jamaica?
Jamaican Englishman, I think a decade. I can't see it. I can't look how long it took us. We weren't even, it took us, it's taking the Jamaican Labour Party the best part of 9 years, and they haven't even finished renovating Cornwall Regional Hospital. So how long you think it's going to take to renovate Savlamar? Basically a rebuild of Savlamar and Black River and Cornwall Regional.
Well, I also think it's going to sound bad. It's kind of a wake-up call for the government and the country to figure out that the current economy that it has is not a sustainable one. It needs to change and allow it to be more diversified and allow it to think about what the future is going to look like and how do you make yourself relevant in that future. You can't have tourism, remittances, agriculture as your main GDP contributors. That doesn't make sense to me. It has to change. And if it doesn't, then you're in trouble. Well, you're already in trouble, but it's going to get worse.
Hold on. Jamaican Englishman, you can listen to the snippets from the news. Airports, restaurants. I'm going to DJ tonight in a few minutes, but I'm in Kingston. Kingston was, this was the best hurricane for cataract. From the day my born, no hurricane. I did not lose light. I did not lose water. I did not lose. It's after the hurricane that I lost internet for a day and cable. It was like nothing happened to me. Right? In Beryl, I was without light for a week. So because people understand, and my mother's from Manchester, we don't even talk about Alligator Pond and those places and things. My father is from Southern St. Elizabeth. We don't even hear from the family. We don't even hear from them. We're now beginning to get in whatever, right? Mobay International has commercial flights. What are you talking? No, those flights are as best as I heard. I am sure. I'm so special. Those flights are what do you call them, Kranky? Relief flights. I'm not aware of Mobay having commercial flights.
I thought the relief flights were supposed to be starting yesterday, and they were supposed to be starting up commercial flights. Yes, they're supposed to be. Wait, are they going through? Yeah, no, they're supposed to have. Yeah, they're supposed to have commercial flight.
It's relief flights. It's not commercial flights.
It says commercial flights recommence on November 1st, supposedly, is what I'm reading here. So phase reopening. So they're not going to do it all at once, but they probably do it staggered, actually.
The gas stations and stuff like that, yes, the Petrodam and they were a bit more ready. But look here.
No, not people, not all the gas. We got to be very careful when we make these blanket comments. Because I got a call this evening about this. Some gas stations say they're out of fuel. Some gas stations say they're not serving because people are not lining up the right way. There are different things that are happening. So we can't make a blanket statement and say gas stations are open as if gas stations are not open. That's not how it works.
But the gas station in Cave Hill, for example, called Big Up Danishka, right? Good little friend of mine. And I think I saw on her page or whatever. The gas station in Cave Hill is still underwater. You can't see the pumps. So how you say gas opening? In Kingston and St. Andrew, yes. But believe you me, the eastern end of the island was spared the most part of it. But there's problems. For example, in Almontown, I know of 2 houses that have that just 2 red brick houses for 2 youth. That just gone.
Well, I mean, the damaging system in Kingston is minimal compared to anywhere.
No, it's not minimal. No,
it's minimal. I say it's minimal compared to other locations. It is. It's minimal compared to St. Elizabeth. It's minimal compared to Westmoreland. Minimal.
It is not as significant or catastrophic. It is not as catastrophic.
If you're doing as comparative, there's no comparison between Kingston, St. Andrew, and a St. Elizabeth, Westmoreland, and Hanover. There's no comparison.
No, but they couldn't be. They can, in any hurricane, there's no comparison to the damage that happens where the eye of the wall hits.
Yeah, no, but here's the thing. I think that's the point I'm making, which is the first thing to do is actually clear the roads, so people can move and get more mobile. Electricity, roads, water, the bare essential. Okay, if you clear the roads, people can move. They can be commerce, right? You can have activity. You can move supplies in and out. Huh?
And that's at the point where you can make assessment. You can't make assessments without the road being closed.
Yeah, they have to get the roads done as quick as possible. Yeah, there has to be a way to. A lot of people can't call anybody because they don't have access because the phone systems are down. You see me dropping a link, the whole Starlink people. So if anybody in Jamaica, and if you drop the Starlink, unless somebody can link somebody down there, it's a counterintuitive people, and it's sort of paradoxical in the concept, in the idea of this, which is the people who you want to get information out to, they can't get it because they don't have access. So if you tell them about Starlink, they won't get the information that Starlink is up and running, and they can get access to Starlink, which would then allow them to make calls. Right? It's sort of interesting how that works. Whereas the situation where people can't get out in terms of information, they can't receive. So unless they can go someplace other than their community they're in, like in Montego Bay, people can go there and probably get calls, or there's some schools that use Starlink where people use their cars or their vehicles to motor up these things and to make calls. It's hard. A lot of people heard about, if they heard about Starlink, they could then get connection and link people outside of their current situation.
Oh, so if you can pull up Kerry McKee's comment, respect, and we're happy for that, Kerry. But you see, when people say, 5 flights reach Fort Lauderdale today, right? But then look at his fine print from Kingston. You understand, Kranky?
Yeah, no. It says November 1st, which is Sunday, when commercial flights Montego Bay, yeah.
Right, so he has said that, but you see people say, 5 flights, the airport up and running, everything good. Fam, but everything not good, bro. Everything not good.
No. I mean, it can't. It's not okay. It's not okay to say everything is good. It's not good. I don't know how we're using good in the wrong context. Some people's life would never be good again, and a lot of people going to take a while for them to get to what they call good.
So I want to try. What politicized Kerry McKee? What politicized?
Why aren't you speaking? Why are you doing like what Kranky does? Why are you reading all the comments and then taking it in personal? Why are you doing what Kranky does? Don't do that.
Look here.
Don't do that. Leave the comments alone.
They better be happy that Pastor Blake name don't start with a K. Because the show will be the KKK show.
Don't do what I do. Just ignore sometimes. Right? You ain't gotta.
But I want to politicize.
There's always somebody in the chat, Cataract, want to say something that perturbs those who are probably speaking over. It always happens. But sometimes it sounds like you politicize it though. Okay, when you start talking about
hold on, let me
it
ask
sounds like it's sometime I'm telling. I called you out earlier, right? It sounds like it.
Let me ask you something.
Yeah.
You think hurricane stop and say, oh, hold on, you come right? No. When I lift off your roof. Oh,
but cataract. If somebody's telling you what you sound like, that's their interpretation of what you sound like. You can't say they're totally wrong.
Well, I haven't used the word PNP or JLP.
I know, but you don't have to. You ain't gotta do that. You can't be sounding PNP or JLP without using name.
So Kranky, listen to this. These are some of the things that are likely to come, and I have to leave because, let me say, Kingston a party. Like, nobody, them call me and tell me, say the club full. We need to reach down there.
So I have a question, people, because Kingston a party, right? And people are suffer someplace else. Should they party or not party? Because I had a conversation the other day. I think I was talking about Maverick about something, right? After I've had 2 shows in the hurricane, as you know, Keta, right? And this moron, Reggae Boyz blogger, whatever the hell his name is, and somebody named David was chastising me. I think it's maybe David J in the chat for talking about this during this period. And I'm like, what the hell? You people going to sit down 24/7 and just cry about what transpired? Are they going to live their life but also help at the same time? You can only do things at once. You can do 2 things at once. It's not impossible.
Look here. People in Kingston gone back to murdering. As a matter of fact, probably the only good that might ever come out of this is that a whole heap of the gunmen with them bury, wash me and can't find again.
I hope all of them wash me.
I hope all of them wash me.
I hope all of them wash me. I get destroyed by the water. Yeah.
That's the only good that could come out of it.
All right, David J. I apologize. Yeah.
Let me say some big man things, right? Jamaica's an economy. Our major agriculture is a great contributor to the GDP. Construction, housing development. So the price of zinc and cement and block and all materials are going to skyrocket. Tourism, which 3 of the major parishes that form the tourism belt, 4 or 5 if you count Falmouth. People are talking about Falmouth or Trelawney like they don't exist. Them places to get licked down to, bad man.
But that's what I made earlier, Cataract, which is tourism is the major contributor to GDP. So
I'm agreeing with you.
And you talk about Portland, people not going to go to Jamaica, period. They ain't going to go to Portland. They just not going to go. Or would I go someplace where it sounds like the whole island washway?
Like somebody says, oh, hi, hello, Travelocity. Let me book from Fort Lauderdale to the Gaza Strip or Palestine. There's a war there. Come on. But I want to say quickly, Kranky, there's likely to be hyperinflation, right? Hyperinflation.
It depends on how much goods and services get into the island, right? You're right. Initially, there will be, and people will manipulate the system to, right, in terms of withholding stuff and increasing demand versus increasing supply. But I think it will come back to norm in a few months in terms of goods and services. But something, as you mentioned, like some of the more things that contribute, like the construction industry, it may take a while for prices to normalize. That's normally what happens. Just think about COVID, people, and call it a minor COVID. When you had COVID and you had supply chains dry up, prices go up. They go back to normal at some point in time. It take a little while to do so.
So if all of your agriculture belt has been hit, right? The bread basket, the semi bread basket, that's Manchester, Clarendon, Trelawney, the yam and stuff. Those are major bread baskets hit, my friend. So but the reason for the devastation, so for example, is it in the last time in a burial, right? Yeah, the man get licked down and pumpkin mash up and the skeleton get ground and rotten and those kind of things, right? And stuff. But then he had a farm store to go to. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So you say, no, the farm store gone.
Yeah, I think it's yeah. Yeah.
And I'm not being sensational. I'm telling you, Jamaica is going to suffer. There's sufferation going to be on this land. Think of all the people that have just overnight lost their jobs. All the hotel workers for the foreseeable future. Right?
That's I hate to say this to people, but I'm doing a video tomorrow. That's AI a few years from now. That's the same calamity you're gonna face. It's gonna be 10 times worse. But anyway, keep going, Cataract, keep going.
Yeah? You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
People who work at wholesale, they don't even have a job to go to. I saw the news today. So normally you would use some big trucks to carry out the you know, when you cut up the trees and stuff and the big. In Montego Bay, some of those trucks were in the sea. Mash up, others mash up, roll over, turn over. Some they can't find some of the drivers. They can't account for them. Because they have the little place like a little, what they call, like a lock.
Rest, like a rest stop. Yeah, truck like rest stop.
Yeah, right here where the truck of them pull up and linger. I think there's one out at Ferry as well, and thing. So see, even the equipment that you would use in this effort, some of those equipment are damaged and gone. So it's not pretty, brother. Just help your country, man. Anything you can do, just help Jamaica. That.
Yeah, no, I think the diaspora is doing a ton and will do a ton.
That, Mr. Oral Chelsea? Any which day you call him Kranky, just
I spoke to him today.
Kranky, that me out. Let me tell you if you call me, call me plan to call him.
No. Here's what happened. So he called me out today, and I was trying to call using a phone card, and I couldn't. I actually used my personal phone and call him direct. It cost me $86 for the phone call to the people. And look at my bill, I'm like, damn, was it worth it? But I did call him today. The conversation, we were all both trying to talk over each other, so that wasn't as I wasn't as articulate, eloquent as I'd like to be, nor I think on the other side. And he was pushing back on what I was saying. He wasn't really listening because he doesn't listen well. He was just doing a lot of talking. He wasn't really listening well, and I wasn't having it either. So, but I invited him on my channel, and he keeps saying, "Yeah, more come in, not come no way," because I don't want to have I don't like calling radio station that much, frankly, because you get 5 minutes. It's clickbait. You want to have an environment where you're talking to someone, and you both have a lot of time to provide your perspective, and the audience can judge who's making sense and not making sense. I want to say one thing though before I go off that topic. This is more about the hurricane and the aftermath. There's somebody called Pelfa, whatever his name is, who called him earlier. He's the one who started this, calling me out and quoting stats. Hey, Pelpa, what your name? Stop quoting my stats. The man actually took my stuff, say a theme stuff, Cataract, and then go on the station and try to beat me with my own stuff. And if him say I lie, me I tell, me have receipts. I love having receipts because I have receipts for everything. He used my stuff about players and their stats and who not score, almost verbatim what I said, and then go tell I try to use it, beat me about my talking about Cephas and Dixon, which is sort of stupid. But anyway, that conversation is done. We move on.
No, it can't done. The man that thing not done. Look here. Football is life, and life is football, and hurricane.
No, I mean done in terms of for today, because we're here more focused on more important things. It's not about me and him. Yeah. It's more about yeah. But it was I did get a chance to call today because he's saying I'm wimping out and I'm freed. What during the day, I'm trying to call and the phone is always busy. I called from I actually called him from my nephew's phone. It wasn't even my phone, my nephew's phone. To call him because my phone somehow wasn't able to call him. I called him from my nephew's phone. And so I was able to have a conversation. I think we spoke for about 19-20 minutes. But I'm sure we'll have another conversation another day. But I can't keep up on your channel, you're not up on mine. So it makes no sense. But anyway, Katara, back to the that thing done. Back to more important things.
This inflation is likely, but these things affect football, So where do you think people who go and sponsor the Reggae Boyz and the Reggae Girls, where do you think them coming from?
Well, that's a challenge now, right? Because you got to reallocate resources, don't you?
Yes, and people who have corporate money to give are going to give to hurricane relief. They're not going to give to Reggae Boyz.
Yeah. Well, people also need some relief, people. So even though we all very concerned about what transpired, and number of us have families who have been directly affected and who needs immediate help. And I'm just trying to think about how to even get money to Jamaica. That's part of the challenge too, right? To get it to in the hands they need to get into. Because I was talking to my niece yesterday, and she was saying the ATMs are full. Some other things that she mentioned in terms of just trying to get access to cash is a little bit difficult. And then the supermarkets are empty too, which is interesting. The supermarkets don't have no food in them.
Right. Partially, like I tried to get some water to go and give to, because I made a donation. Me and my business partner, my best friend, I made a donation to, with the reach company inside of Kingston. Before the hurricane, that's a little 10 case of water and 10 case of mackerel and 50 bread and thing and crackers. Just, pre-hurricane stuff. When we went back to the same places, what do you call those people now? The people who have come in to do relief work, and I don't want to say do-gooders, but those from international who have come to help, they have bought out everything. So I have to wait days for water.
But Kingston have goods, right?
Not water, not bread.
So what happened to the dams in Kingston? Are they functional?
No. Oh, I meant drinking water, bottled water, sorry.
Oh, bottled water, okay.
I'm talking drinking water. Some places don't have, for example, Almond Town, where there's no electricity and stuff like that, because they have down power lines in Kingston.
Yeah. Down power lines a lot in St. Elizabeth and those places. A lot of down power lines.
Down power lines all across Jamaica, but I'm just saying that even Kingston and St. Andrew are the least affected parishes. And there's still down power line in like parts of Kingston, etc. So, but we continue the conversation, as I said, Kingston will stop party. We are going to party.
Say it again, Keter?
Kingston will stop party till we are 140.
Yeah. One side is mourning and one side is partying. It's interesting dynamics. Interesting contradiction. One side of the island is having fun and the other side is in despair. Total despair. Can you imagine you wake up? I mean, tonight you have nowhere to sleep, basically. Your house is destroyed. It's not like we have these great shelters you can go stay in for a while. They were showing you this one lady who was, I don't know why she let CNN in her house, but it wasn't pretty. It was ugly.
Looting has begun in St. Elizabeth and other places.
Them people ever get shot. Sorry.
Looting has begun.
And I advocate shooting people, but if you're stealing from people already down, if you just
gas station up and running. The man them loot out the whole of the gas station in Savlamar. Not Savlamar, sorry. In Santa Cruz. So I don't know what he's talking about. And I think there's going to be more looting. But the looting is not only about. So when a man loot and see a man running with a case of restaurant in his head, it's not hunger. That's a different thing. Okay. So those are some of the real things. That's all I can do. So just don't believe everything you read out here. Just know that there's some other things. All right.
Yeah.
But thoughts and prayers go. Thoughts and prayers go.
Yeah, man, not the prayers thing, but thoughts go with the people then.
Thoughts by prayers. We'll not get into that.
Yeah. I mean, I know the prayers. If the prayers went to work, we wouldn't have no catastrophe. We stop that. I'm tired of them thing. It bother my ears. If prayers when they work, we wouldn't have no catastrophe. No prayers thing now work.
No, so
we know we get beaten and people them like everybody come on program a Christian or them a believer. Sorry people, but we no keep praying and nothing go on. People are suffer.
Well, a man say him get up and pray to Jah. If you no, him say here what was the Bible read him here rukutuk. I didn't say. He just said, Jah, not this time. I grab my suitcase and I run.
Wait, how do you run? Where do you run to? That's the question. How do you run?
You run from. where the waters are coming from. When you hear Rukutu, that's
okay.
water coming. That's mostly water. That's water. That's the sound of water inundating your thing. But Kranky, I have to make a move.
Yeah,
Big up
man.
the items.
Bless up.
The whole of the man and we'll keep joining.
I'm not stay on long
And,
anyway. Just come on to talk to the people and have
yeah,
some conversation. And Lisa. Thanks, Cataract. Cataract, same go party people. I didn't say I don't believe in God. I don't believe in the concept of prayers. I don't want to get into this conversation tonight because there's a lot of religious people, but we stop it. I don't understand. I'm just, the whole point I make about this is that I don't believe if a being is as significant as God is supposed to be, that being wants to be worshipped. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm going to say about that. I'm going to leave that alone and move on. If you have your religion and you believe and you want prayer, your business. I know my business. That. But it not work. God answer. Answer the people in the east, not in the west and the south. That's what me say. But anyway, we're not going to eat tonight. We're going to leave that alone. It's not a good time. If you believe that God answers your prayers, hopefully we'll help Jamaica get rebuilt quickly. But yeah, Mr. Man, the West is going through a very, very difficult time. I have a lot to learn. I love when kids want to teach me. Yeah, truth. Teach me. I mean, I know nothing, my idiot. Teach me. I find these things really interesting. Yeah, but as I said, people, I didn't come to stay on long. I came to stay on for like an hour. I've almost been on for an hour. Cataract can't talk. I should stick to sports. Okay. That's like telling somebody to shut up and dribble. This is amazing, people, the way people are, If you venture to a certain avenue which they can't relate to, then they want to shut you up. Nobody can shut me up. Me have a mic. Me will talk about it on my mind. If people don't like it, me can't help you. I understand when I touch certain subjects, they're very sensitive. And people lose their mind. Good evening.
Good evening. Thanks for taking my call.
Yeah. What do you have to say? Be positive tonight. Be positive tonight. Yeah, I ask you. Be positive tonight. Before you start, me also say be positive tonight. Before you start.
The positive, we can take this opportunity to sit down and be honest regarding Jamaica and chart a new course, economically and socially.
It's not gonna happen socially, but economically, yes.
That's the only positive thing that I can focus on, and I was going to talk about the economy, and I was going to I like the facts, but the facts are unfortunate. So let me pick out the positive going forward. Where 5-10 industries can be highlighted, in which Jamaica has a decided advantage that can be explored.
Crispy, before you go further, you believe in God?
Not in the traditional sense. I believe that there might be a higher power, but I am not a Christian.
Okay, you believe in Jesus?
No.
Okay, good. I'm glad you don't worship no man, but keep going. Because Jesus was a man, and then people clothed both him and him come under God. So anyway, keep going, Crispy. Keep going.
Yeah. So
I lose no people tonight, and I'm lose no people tonight. But keep going.
Yeah. Jamaica can identify 5-10 industries that the country has a decided advantage, and explore those industries and build a 21st century economy that is diverse, that can withstand these type of disasters.
I would agree that you're right. The government has an opportunity. I was trying to people. I called somebody in Jamaica, right? Spoke to them yesterday, day first, and I said I need somebody in the government to come on my program to talk about the aftermath, what the plans were, what the short, medium, and long-term plans. And I said they mentioned some names, very prominent people, and I said, give me somebody more junior than those people because they're going to be busy. But I haven't heard back from the person. I'm very disappointed because I think it'd be good to have the conversation with those individuals. Say, as you're saying, which is this is a good time to have a paradigm shift, basically, about how we operate in terms of, you're saying, economically and otherwise. Because, when I go to Japan, for example, people, you see, when them have earthquake in Japan, the building sway with the earthquake going on. The building them now fall down. You have building codes which require you to build a certain way to allow it to survive even some of the worst earthquakes. Now, if the earth is moving totally, you're not able to survive it, but they have skyscrapers there which sway. You think you're on boat when the earthquake come. So the point I'm trying to make is that Jamaica needs to get to a point where whatever building is being constructed, it meets certain requirement, and also it's not being built in an area which is prone to these natural disasters, or you reinforce them to be able to withstand these disasters. That has to be part of the consideration. We can't keep going around in circle and then we get all perturbed and get all mad when these things occur. We have to figure out a way to ameliorate some of this. Go ahead.
I have some very, very, very bad news for you in this regard. I do not think this vision that I'm proposing will come locally. I don't think they are not interested. You're a person's, the best indicator of future performance is past performance. That's the reason why a resume is important. The current administration has been in office for 10 years. Nothing has been done to refocus and redirect Jamaica's fortune. Nothing. The talent is not there. Jamaica has the second highest brain drain in the world. What are the impact? What implications does that have? It means that Jamaica brightest are overseas.
Well, I mean, that could be good in some respects, right, Crispy?
No, it's not good.
Okay, so here's my rationale on that. It could be good if you leverage it.
It cannot be leveraged because I have never seen. There is no country in the world that is rich and prosperous with a high brain drain rate.
No. We understand it. I'm saying this again. It can be. You can look. You're not going to stop the brain drain. Not when America's at your doorstep and provides you significant more opportunity to climb to climb the ladder. I always use the word corporate, and to elevate yourself. Right? That's not going to happen. The question is, how do you pivot and make it work for your advantage? You ain't going to stop the brain drain. Because you and I know this. If you are a doctor, if you're a lawyer, if you're an accountant, if you're an engineer in Jamaica, and you're making 50, 100K, maybe not even that much, and you come to the US and make 4 times that number, why would you stay in Jamaica? When the cost of living is not 4 times as much, it may be two times as much. So you're twice as much better off. Why would you stay?
I am not saying the brain drain is going to stop completely, but what I'm saying is that there's a list of almost 200 countries in the world. Maybe Jamaica can be 100 on the brain drain chart and not number 2. I'm not going to stop it completely, but it cannot be that high. Here's
the difference. So Jamaica is a small country, right? India's population of what? 1.5 billion. They have exported about 80 million people. That is what? 20 sometimes the population of Jamaica. They've exported outside India, right? Not including contractual laborers who on HB1 visas, right? The point I'm trying to make is that some countries may not have the same percentage of people exporting, but they export a lot of people. The question you have to ask yourself is, if I can't fix something the way I want to fix it, do I think of alternatives that will allow me to be good, to do well?
But the issue is that
So wait, let me stop you. What are your solutions you're proposing? Because we can't identify the problem, no solutions.
My solution is a group of Jamaicans who are concerned will have to make some sacrifice to get the job done.
What do you mean? Elaborate.
Meaning, some returning to Jamaica will have to occur. People who can go back and people who are in a position to do it.
But you just told me that doesn't work. That's what, isn't that what I suggest to you? They come with an alternative whereby how do you leverage those? No, how do you leverage that brain power to help you?
No. I misunderstood. I misunderstood you.
Okay.
I thought you were the leverage mean continue to ship people overseas. I misunderstood.
No, but you got to get a return on your. So wait, here's the thing: Jamaica invests in that talent. That talent goes to high school, something university, and then it leaves. How does Jamaica get a return on its investment? It may get it through remittances, but that may not be enough. It needs intellectual capital. And how does it leverage that capital? Because even the people who are in Jamaica doing jobs, what's her name? Is that the communication director for the Prime Minister, the finance minister? I think she's going to be in Atlanta, Jackson Airport. The finance minister are going to World Bank. Even those individuals who are ingrained in Jamaica society are still getting up on leave for the opportunities they're getting. How does the country then pivot and say, you know what? Let's figure out a way to leverage this exports that we're doing and help us to move forward as society. Because if all your people who have the know-how, I say all, because some Jamaica take it personal. If a lot of people in Jamaica who have certain intellect are leaving, right? Then the innovation, the entrepreneurship is also leaving. You have to find a way to get people to want to help in some way, shape, or form, but you also have to incentivize them to do so.
I totally agree with you, but you see, Jamaica has one difficult problem that many countries don't have, and that since 1962, Jamaica's political structure is dependent on people who are low information voters. So if Jamaica changes and improve, the politics automatically will have to change. Let me give you an example. The opposition leader and the prime minister both represent garrison constituencies.
Mm.
Garrison constituencies are, I'm very sorry, but it is true, are low information. The majority of people living in those communities are low information. There is no incentive for either gentleman who are the two of the most powerful people in the political arena to change that dynamic, because they benefit from that dynamic. And that's the difference I see it in Jamaica around. Is that the politics is dependent on low information voters. You know, so to ask the prime minister to develop his constituency and turn it into a nice middle class community, he's not going to do it. That means he will not be elected.
Yeah, I think sometimes though, I don't know how you fix. That's been going on for a long time, people. I don't disagree with the concept actually. I mean, Siaga owned Tivoli, right? A lot of these politicians were in prominent roles. By design, assume those communities, give them certain things, especially down in those communities, to get loyalty, and that's part of the problem. But the country is bigger than just those communities, right? So the question is, you're right about it. I was reading some exam results for what they call it. Is it CXC? Whatever they call it now, whatever it was, GCSE, whatever it is. And when I look at the results, a Montego Bay High, a Campion, a Mannings, a Mount Alverna, those schools get really good grades. And then I started digging deeper to the Charlie Smiths of the world. And in some of those schools, they had little or no passes, right? If you go to school at Campion, everybody gets 5 or above. Five of those exam results are above. And then you ask yourself, well, why are these schools still in existence if ain't nobody passing? What are they doing there? They're wasting time. Why don't dismantle those schools and repurpose those students someplace else? Because they're failing. And if you fail, you should not be teaching anybody being business. You should not. I don't think it's the students and their capabilities. I think it's the teachers and the schools and the environment.
Before the 1972, when Michael Manley came in and the idea that everybody must be equal was taking root, Jamaica had a different educational system, one in which you were tested at certain interval throughout your lifespan, and based on the grade you get, you were ushered into certain fields. So, for example, my father was not book smart, so he went into the trades. But since the 70s, the belief is that everybody must have a high school education. Everybody must do this and everybody must do that. And that has hurt Jamaica as well, because you're diverting scarce resources towards inefficient areas.
Well, no, I think everybody should have high school education. That's the minimum, right? High school is the minimum, people. That's the bottom. Everybody should have high school education. Now, the question is, what you do after high school? Some people will go into trade and some people will go to universities. And Jamaica have limited resources, so it's competition to go to UWI or to go to UTech, right? But I do think everybody, because you want basic intelligence in your population.
Yes, but what you see, I don't want to go down that road. If you look at Germany, for example, Germany is the largest economy in Europe, so it's a good system to look at. When you leave high school, if you're not going to college, you leave high school with a trade.
Right.
You started.
But you got a high school education, right? You got a high school education.
The last 2 years of high school,
you make some decisions about where you want direction to go in. Yeah.
Yeah. If you don't test into college, you leave with a trade. Whether I'm necessarily to work on the factory floor, carpentry, XYZ, and Jamaica does not have that system. Kranky, Jamaica needs people who are selfless and people who are going to do it out of love.
So Crispy.
I'm turning the country around. It's hard. It's hard.
Are human beings inherently selfless?
No.
Exactly.
But
that happening.
When you look toward history, you see some people who have done some work that you say they put some sacrifice on the line. Is
that normal or abnormal? Politicians are not inherently unselfish. They're just not. Being a politician is about ego for most of them. And the ones who went in for the right reason get co-opted and they change because they say they can't change the system. Right? They go, some going for the right reason and realize, you know what, this system is broken and I could be altruistic. I want to do the best I can, but this ain't working. I can't do it. And they give up. Yeah.
Let's pivot to the football a little bit. And tied to the old disaster. I'm wondering if since Western Jamaica has been heavily impacted and resources are going to be diverted all over the place, I'm wondering if they're going to just drop this old quota business and just pick the best team. I wonder if
one second, Crispy. I had a family member go to hard school of nonsense. I don't know about technical high school, but hard school of nonsense. But keep going. Nonsense.
Yeah. I agree with you with the art issue. That it is nonsense.
It's nonsense.
Because that can be done by the business community and the private people. But anyhow, I wonder if Kranky, before I met you, I thought that I was the only Jamaican who think like you. I thought that I was the only Jamaican who think this way.
Nah, there are a lot of people. There are a lot of Jamaicans who have. I know a lot of Jamaicans who, a lot of them, like in the corporate world, some of them are actually disconnected from Jamaica, to be honest. They come here, they come from challenging community, they have done really well here, and they have actually cut that navel string. They just, I can't deal with it. They just move, they just don't engage with Jamaica at all. Talk about Jamaica, and I talk to them and they're just, you can't convince them to they had a difficult time in Jamaica, some of them, and they just don't want to deal with it.
I have very difficult time in Jamaica too. I was teased for liking to read. I was mocked because I did not have the best fashionable clothes. Jamaicans will make you hate them.
Yeah, but is that Jamaica or just people in general? We got to be very careful with that labeling because high school is the most difficult time in anyone's life, period.
Yeah, but Jamaica have some unique things about them. unique things about them. You know, we have to be honest with ourselves if we're going to move forward and come to some changes. We have to admit the facts. You know, we just have to admit the facts. You know, I live amongst different group of people, and everyone have their own unique ups and downs. Some are more than others, but they're there and they have to be. But I want to go on to the football. I'm wondering if this will change minds. Say, look, put the best team forward, engage the diaspora significantly, and let's move forward with the football. I'm wondering if this will change any minds.
I don't think so, because I think the people who control the football are normally in positions where they're not in need for anything, right? They're not in need. They'll tell you that they're not in need. They'll tell you how many houses they have. They'll tell you what the resources they have. So they're not in need. The people who control the football, and they're the decision makers. Now, will the regular population change? I don't think so. People have a short memory, you know. I think a lot of people in Jamaica, and people may not like me saying this, and I know this for a fact because I experienced this. When you support people for a while and they become dependent on you, they become entitled. Yeah, they believe you're in a better position. You should be doing this. I shouldn't even ask to do it. You should be doing this and be happy to do it for me. Versus, you know what? I'm appreciative of what you're doing. That appreciation turn over a period of time to an entitlement, which is, you know what? This is my God-given right. And you use the word God, people. It's my God-given right to have this that you're doing. You should be glad you're doing it for me. You didn't be. He's really interested in that work. Now, in times like these, we sort of throw those things out the door and we go to a different level, right? It's all about giving back now because people are in need. They're not in want. Being in want is a different thing. When you're in need, then it's a whole different ballgame. And I'm so proud of the diaspora for rallying around this. And I know people are doing a lot. You know, I was at Dennis Shipping this morning. Barrels, there's always there a lot of barrels. They have more barrels than before. People are just trying to get the barrels down to Jamaica as quickly as possible to help not only their loved ones, but anyone who may need some kind of help. And that's an appreciation. That's people here who are really committed, want to do the right thing, want to support, want to help, want to drive the reconstruction of the affected areas and help those who are in need. Not necessarily those in want, but those who are in need. And I'm proud to say, you know, it's a great thing to see.
Yeah, also, I am wondering if the property values, you know, will be affected. You know, will there be investment opportunities for people in diaspora who maybe want to buy up land and things like that? I wonder what the
I don't view it that way, because then we're taking away from people who are already being devastated, right? A lot of the land and housing in Jamaica are owned by diaspora. A lot. Like tons. I think people have a misconception of how much diaspora owns in Jamaica. Anything that new that go up, I can bet you half of them are owned by diaspora. They're not, local people can't afford some of these places. I've been to community in Jamaica where I mentioned this already on my channel, which is I went to a building. It must have been 15, 16 stories right out by Reading. Those you know Montego Bay. As you pass that roundabout on the left-hand side going towards Lucy. Me and my brother was going out looking at some properties, and we made a wrong turn in, and the lady says, oh, you know, it's locked. She was guarding the place. And we're like, oh, what is this? And she explained to us and says, oh, all the apartments in here are owned by foreigners. They're owned by people overseas. And we see them like once or twice a year. Now, that's good and that's bad, actually, because there's no occupancy there. Nobody's there in a regular. It's getting the place life. It's owned by people who live overseas. They buy these places as maybe a vacation home or a second home. Some plan to go back and retire there, whatever it is that they're doing. But they're vacant buildings.
Yeah, you know, one thing that when we talk about the diaspora, and there is value in being on the ground.
Yeah.
You know, there's value. There's a reason why countries fight for talent. There's a reason why companies fight for talent. You know, there's value in being on the ground. You know, so your family has not been impacted severely.
No, they have. I was so my niece called me last night. Called called her sister last night. Her sister lives with me. My niece. Well, I have a niece here live with me and a couple of nephews, and they're calling. They have no phone service, right? She say in our community, they live close to Cambridge in St. James. They say in our community, all the light posts are down, so there's no electricity. They went to a primary school where they have what's it called, Starlink, and there's no electricity, but they use a car to connect to the system to get Wi-Fi to use data to call. Very innovative to me, very intuitive. Yeah. And so we spoke to them, and they're like, "You gotta send stuff now because there's about 3 houses, right? So where my brother lives, because my brother moved back to Jamaica years ago. Don't ask me why. It sounds really bad me saying that, but I don't. He moved back to the country. If I moved to Jamaica, I'm going into a town. I ain't even know country. And he loves that. But they said the house roof came off, and I'm still asking my question, how did that roof come off? I put the damn roof on. I didn't put it on physically, but I'm just saying it's a 3-story house. I'm surprised the roof came off. But they were saying that in that community, they're placed in that community where there are no houses. The houses are gone, like totally destroyed, Some houses are full of mud. Some houses are flooded. Some houses are gone, right?
Wow.
And she was saying that we're trying to send money, but it's very difficult to send money because she's saying the ATMs are packed. They're trying to get gas because they have a generator, but they can't. The generator can't go because they ain't got no fuel for the generator. And trying to get fuel, either gas stations are so they're out of fuel or the lines are ridiculous. You can imagine, right? Okay, everybody got car in Jamaica nowadays. So.
What about
wait, one second. Hey, Colin Quest, Colin Quest is a big supporter of the channel, people. Colin Quest, I always drop in 20. Colin Quest, appreciate it, sir. Appreciate it. Don't take it for granted. Thank you. Yeah, go ahead.
What about Venmo and PayPal?
Don't know. I didn't know you could use Venmo and PayPal for Jamaica, actually. When I said money to Jamaica, I didn't know it was not. I used to use Western Union, or if I send money, I send it to the bank, which takes a few days. My niece have a way of sending it now, so I just give her the money and she sends it. I don't know how she does it. I didn't ask her. She just sent it. That is much quicker because I'm always focused on 2 things, which is what's the fee that they charge and what's the currency exchange rate, right? Because people focus on the fees, focus on the rate that they're giving. That's the most important thing.
Yeah, because if she has a PayPal or Venmo account, you can send it using the email and she get the money instantly.
You know what happened to me the other day? It's embarrassing. I sent someone to a family member at their old number, not their new number. I won't tell you how much money it was. And I'm trying to call the person to get my money back. It ain't happening. But anyway, stuff happens in life, people. You have to just bite the bullet and move on. First called me, send me this amount of money, and I send the money to them. And then the name had changed, but I didn't check because I sent money to that number, but I hadn't sent it to a while. And I made a mistake. But anyway, it happens.
Also, during the rebuilding phase, would it be wise to rebuild in some of those communities?
No. That's what I'm saying. The government has to really take a step back and say, look, let's assess a number of different things. Are there certain areas which we should not build in because they're susceptible to these natural disasters and they cannot withstand these natural disasters? Are the areas we need to reinforce? Is there things we need to do in terms of gullies and drainage and garbage to allow the water to have some place to go? Because if the water meets some resistance, it moves to some place else where the resistance is not there. And a lot of times it meets a lot of resistance, that's why it gets backed up. Now in this hurricane, Category 5, I don't think what resistance you want to have. This water was going high and going everywhere, so it's hard to do. But there are ways to mitigate some of this. You can't prevent it, but there's a way to mitigate, and that's the government has to try. It's very difficult. You know, Jamaicans are hard-headed. Government want to do something and them still find a way if it work around it. Yeah, but the government has to make an attempt to try to address some of these things.
Yeah, and also, you know, too much emotional, you know, videos I see going around, you know, so sometimes people overdo it too much. Assess what to be assessed, you know, come up with you know, some numbers. You know what I mean? I don't think government can go around and give everyone a house. You know what I mean? Jobs will have to be created so people can work and rebuild their own homes. You know, the government cannot take on responsibility of giving everyone a brand new home. It doesn't make any sense.
No, that's expensive.
And this notion that the government must help. Okay, how?
And Jamaica was doing well in managing its debt to GDP ratio, and now we go out the window. They got to borrow enough to help to cover off some of these expenses.
And those debt to GDP ratio and the IMF this and the IMF that, I totally ignore those numbers because it does not reflect on the ground.
But Crispy, it does give you flexibility, right? If you can manage that really well and you're not burdened, because what people don't realize, the US have a 37 trillion debt. You know what they're paying in interest? It's like your student loan. We have a lot of money for student loan and you're just paying interest and you can't pay off the principal. Right? So it's important to manage that really well, and it gives you more flexibility and gives you the resources to do other things than paying down on interest. You never reduce the balance if you keep doing that. So it does have some benefits.
What I mean is that those figures are often used to polish over the real important figures, like purchase power parity, like number of people who have jobs.
Well, no, not have jobs. I have meaningful jobs, because you can have people a lot of jobs. They're making $2 an hour. That's not, to me, the way you want to do it. The question is, what's the dispersion of the jobs, and are the jobs in a way in which people can generate enough income to make it sustainable, and you can live a decent life.
Yeah,
right? When people use the word jobs, I'm always very cautious about that.
Yeah, in my opinion, when I am evaluating an economy, one of my key data points is the level of immigration, because I can say anything I want to say. People can say anything I want to say, but if people vote with their feet. People vote with their feet. So immigration is a key data point that I use to assess any economy, any state, any country.
Yeah, I mean, look, the Caribbean is not just Jamaica. It's very difficult to have population growth, because what people don't realize is that population growth is directly related to productivity, is directly related to increase in GDP. All being equal, if you have the same population size and people produce the same, you ain't going to increase economically. You're not going to increase GDP output to then allow your economy to grow, right? And Jamaica economy, I think Jamaica population, didn't it decline the last census? I think it declined slightly the last census because of migration. Probably people not having many kids. That's one, and also migration. Jamaica's not the only country, by the way, but if you look at around the world, to be honest, I mean, apart from Africa, most other places having population declining. The population not increasing.
Yeah, I have a proposal. Maybe you can do a stream titled 5 to 10 industries that Jamaica can exploit, and see what people come up with.
That would actually, you know what? That's a good idea, because what we have now is not the answer.
Yeah, I agree. And you are the only person other than myself who are really owning on that fact. And I cannot get anybody else to discuss these issues, because it seems to me that as long as Jamaicans can jump on a plane, they don't care.
Well, I think if you talk to some people in Jamaica who are in the government or who are around the government, there's a lot of focus on tourism. And my view is that, and I've said this numerous times, if the US sneezes, Jamaica has major pneumonia that can kill it between tourism and remittances. So Jamaica has to become a little more self-sufficient and find ways to leverage its natural resources, but also educate its population to operate differently. Now, all this may not matter. Here's where the doomsayer come in me. All this may not matter people in the next 10 years. I'm doing a show. I'm going to do a video tomorrow and talk about some of this. All this may not matter in the next 10 years. I'm dead serious about that. As it relates to AI and economies, all of this may not matter. We could do what we want to do. it probably won't matter. But we'll see what happens. But at the meantime, Jamaica does have to try to figure out a way to pivot and improve and come up with new industries or enhance some of the ones that it has. Because the whole tourism, the whole remittances, agriculture, that ain't cutting it.
And even agriculture, Jamaica is a small island. A small island like Jamaica it does not have a decided advantage in agriculture. It's a landmass issue, and we are very emotional regarding farming. But logically speaking, Jamaica does not have a decided advantage in farming. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
A farmer in America or China, for example, farms on a piece of land that is literally bigger than the island of Jamaica. You know. Okay.
Well, no, I don't know. Truth to truth, that's an interesting point. He's saying that countries that are rich either own oil, minerals, or products.
Yeah.
There are countries like Singapore don't own a damn thing and they're rich. But anyway,
if you're going to do farming in Jamaica, you have to identify a crop that you have a decided advantage in that cannot be sourced anywhere else.
Well, the first thing you need to do is feed yourself, right? The first thing you need to do is you should have a strategy. Say you have something as of 2030, next 5 years, we're going to be self-sufficient when it comes to just feeding so we're not importing food. We're going to produce our own food and we're going to make sure we can feed ourselves. You want to get the basics down first, right? So that's an initiative. Go ahead.
If you take that approach, we are going to focus on farming that when we don't have any.
No. You can multitask. No, you can multitask.
No. Let me say this. For example, you bring up Singapore.
Yeah.
Singapore doesn't have any farms.
I know, but Singapore Singapore is a very small. Hey, Singapore is a very small place, you know.
I know.
With a whole lot of buildings.
Yeah, they're small. Singapore is maybe the size of Montego Bay, but there are 4 million people.
Small and it's dense. They can't farm that. What they have when you're gonna say STEM. STEM is their focus, right? STEM is their focus.
Yeah.
So you gotta use what you have, people. If you can feed yourself, do the basics. Feed yourself, clothe yourself, make sure you have good health care. The fundamental basic of life, make sure you have those down. And then you can think about what can I do then from an export standpoint and how I can leverage internally to help me differentiate myself. Or to help me compete.
Because sometimes when we're going to go in the direction of tariff, we're going to put on tariff and then, in my opinion, there are no good tariffs, and because tariffs only make companies complacent and deny the poor cheap goods. So this is the reason why I talk about decided advantage that you can exploit where you don't have to put up any barriers. You understand?
Well, I mean, look, a lot of people have tariffs for protectionism or for other reasons, right? But it's to generate revenues, to protect whatever industry that you have, that or you do what Trump does, just do a lot of stuff and hope some of them hit or some of them connect, right? Because it's not a really strategy that he has. Or you can do what China does, which is you may not have tariff in the traditional sense, but anybody want to do business in your country, you're going to either steal, take, borrow, or force to get their technology and use it for your own purposes. So people have different methods about how they improve their society. China's done a brilliant job of getting to where they are, starting in the late 70s, right? To where they are now. It's amazing, their transformation. And because they have a population of 1.5 billion, they can bully people because people want access to their markets.
But you see, what they were smart in, they became powerful before they started to throw their weight around. And I think when we started out, we threw our weight around before we became powerful. We put the cart before the horse. When I look at our laws regarding taxes, for example, Jamaica has trade unions, and in my opinion, Jamaica should not have any trade union because that's anti-business.
Well, I mean, unions are everywhere in the world, right? The unions are everywhere in the world.
No, Singapore doesn't have trade unions. Like
I'm saying US have unions, right? People have unions in certain industries. They're not as pervasive as they used to be. They have their benefits and they have their faults.
Yeah, but you live in America and are on a state by state basis. And that's the beauty about America, that one state can have a particular law and another state don't have that law. So you have competition between the states to attract business. But Jamaica, the law apply everywhere.
Well, that's most countries, right? US is unique.
Yeah, that's true. But in general, we have to winning. Our concern must be winning, not the emotional, not trying to win. Do what's necessary to win. And if you're doing what is necessary to win, you're going to say, okay, how can we attract businesses? When I say attract business, I mean local businesses first. And that's going to mean get rid of the taxes, get rid of the regulation, roll back.
I wouldn't say get rid of. I would say make it easier to do business. A lot of people. I was talking to a friend of mine from England texted me the other day and was saying that he was communicating with some people in the UK who are now doing business in Nigeria and Africa. And I was smiling, thinking, Nigeria, really? They got their issues. But they were saying, he was asking them, why don't go to Jamaica? And they were saying the environment is too prohibitive to do business, between crime and tax and government bureaucracy. It just wasn't the place that they want to invest, because they're looking for return on their investment, and there's so much hiccups to get to starting a business. It's prohibitive.
Exactly, and these are things that I've studied, and I know, because I have read Lee Kuan Yew's book. He was a founder of Singapore, literally, and he laid it out in his book. Oh, he did it, and these principles. If you look on the list of the countries regarding ease of doing business, Jamaica is way down, and Singapore is like number 1 or number 2. Jamaica should be up in the top 10 of ease of doing business if we're serious.
Well, sometimes it's this is also controversial, me saying this. Sometimes it's not even the restrictions not driven by the government. The government have people behind the scenes who are protecting their turf, and therefore they make it difficult for others to venture into those spaces because they influence the government. So I know that's part of the problem you face.
I know, but this is the reason why I caution against things like tariffs, because often the tariff is being put on by local people who are friendly with the government. So the more power you give the government to act, the more that power can be abused, and we don't think about that.
Well, no, I mean, governments are powerful in every country. We're finding out in the US how powerful a government can be or a president can be. But I would say, I think Jamaica knows a lot of these things, right? The question is, does the government want to act upon it? And I think the biggest thing for me at Jamaica is that you have to educate the population to a certain level. You also, as you alluded to, you have to figure out a way to leverage diaspora more to help drive the country's economy, not just take the money for what they send for families or they invest in construction. Have much more thought around how you can leverage that intellectual capital to help the island grow, develop, evolve, and be competitive. Otherwise, if you keep losing people because the larger economy is going to pull them away because they have more incentive to go there, then you can only go one direction. Think about it, people. Think about it this way, very simplistic, because a lot of you follow sports. If I'm going to use a good team, if Arsenal have a great team now, right? Well stacked, and they lose Gabriel and they lose Salib. Every year they're bringing good players, but losing more than the players they bring in. So they lose Gabriel, Salib, but they replace them, but they lose 3 versus 2, 4 versus. At some point, it's not going to work. You have a team, you built a good team, or you develop the team, and somebody keep picking them off. It's not sustainable. You're gonna struggle. And it's not only Jamaica, that's what the Caribbean is facing. The US, Canada, and some of the European countries pick off these individuals, take the best people, complain about immigration, but they're taking the best people. They only want the best people. Now, if your best people are taken in any discipline, you're gonna struggle.
Yeah, I am not asking for perfection. I'm not saying no brain drain should occur. I just want in all of the good statistics, in all of the statistics, that I used to measure prosperity. I just want Jamaica to be iron it. It doesn't have to be number one. Like I said before, Jamaica can be 50 on the brain drain chart. It doesn't have to be 2. We can be 20 on the ease of business chart. It doesn't have to be 150. I'm not asking for perfection. Just be eye up on the thing that people and one thing Jamaica don't understand. We operate as if we're in a world by ourselves, and everything about us goes along those lines. Just like when you talk about your friend and the business person went to Nigeria to do business, and when they do the comparison between Nigeria and Jamaica and whatnot, that's how I look at Jamaica in a Kranky. I look at Jamaica is okay. This is a country, and you're competing against the world for capital, for investment, both local and internationally. What policies should be put into place? That's not how Jamaican people in general and the politicians operate. They do anything they want to do. They implement policies based on their emotions, and they do not care. And that's the problem. That's the problem.
Yeah. Well, Chris, I'll leave you, because I'll close on the show, I get tired.
All right. Thanks for taking
I've been
my call.
I came to stay on for an hour, and it's almost 2. But I appreciate the call, sir. I appreciate the call.
All right. Thank you.
Yeah, man. Thanks, Chris. All right, people. It's good that we talked mainly about Jamaica, the anthem of the hurricane, and we didn't talk a lot of sports, even though I had sports in the description, but I didn't mean to talk a lot of sports. I wanted to talk more about what's happening. Maybe people share some of their stories. Didn't get enough of that tonight. But my hope is that everyone, those who are family members, can reach them at some point in time. If there's a way to get to them to tell them about the Starlink, the Musk system that will allow them to make free calls to November 30th. That would be good, because a lot of people love the ability to be able to reach loved ones, or just to call, or just to find a way to communicate and engage. And I know electricity is difficult, but there are places you probably could go if you can charge in your car, because hopefully your car battery is still running. Hopefully you still have a car, because I know a lot of vehicles have been flooded out. I mean, the insurance company in Jamaica, some of them are going to go broke, because a lot of vehicles have been destroyed. I'm sure most of those vehicles, hopefully they have insurance. That insurance, if you're an insurer in Jamaica, I don't envy you today. Right? I don't envy today. And by the way, Drew Ross, I was going to use Man U as an example, but you don't have a sustainable program of where you have talent coming in and out. So I couldn't use you because I didn't know who to talk about or what to talk about. I can only talk about something like Arsenal, where they have quality players. You only have a few. But anyway, so everyone, thanks for being here. I appreciate you being here. I'm trying to get Maverick on my channel, but he's hiding from me in this domain. He likes people to come on his show, his program, but he doesn't want to venture out, right? As I would say, he needs to get comfortable with the uncomfortable. Venture out, Maverick. You can't always control what's happening. Venture out, come on the program. Let's have a conversation. All right, people. Have a wonderful evening. Those of you who are EPL fans, the game started at 11 a.m. tomorrow, because the clock has moved back in the UK. They have moved back in the US. Those of you who have the ability to provide resources to people in Jamaica, please do so. Send the barrels, send the money, clothes, food. They can use a lot there, and they would truly appreciate it. So do what you can do, and help out. All right? Have a good evening, everyone. Peace out. Have a good night. Thanks for being here. I appreciate you. And before you leave, please hit the like button. Bye.